Have you ever thought about going car free? Well, today I've got an idea that I think you might like. Let's go.
Hey, get back here. Good boy. Hey!
Hey, did you know you called me?
I must have pocket dialed you. Let's get this cold. That's dessert.
Okay, so the whole idea of this video is to show you this skateboard that I absolutely love, and I live on an island here in eastern North Carolina, and I tend to use this more than I drive. So, quick disclaimer, I do have a car, but if my circumstances weren't what they were, I would have this solely, because it does everything I need for it to do. Okay, let's get to the geeky stuff. This is called a boosted board, and it's a long board that's made out of a bamboo deck. It's super flexible, and it has two motors on the back. As you can see there, I rode over a bunch of rocks. Two 1,000 watt motors, and this one's called the Dual Plus. This is the strongest one they have. They have two other ones. One's called the Single, which only has one motor, and then they have the Dual, which has two weaker motors. And then they have this one, which is the strongest. And I elected for this one because I'm a 6'4", 235 pound guy, so I need to make sure I have plenty of juice to get me around. But what's really cool about this one is it'll go up a 25% grade at full speed. And they claim that this will go 22 miles per hour, but I've downloaded a couple apps on my iPhone and I've got 25 miles per hour on a straightaway, so it'll go even faster. One thing you always want to make sure if you ever were to purchase one of these is always wear a helmet. You could really get hurt on this thing if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not careful. The price of these is not cheap. This one was actually $1,500. I know that's expensive, but what's even more expensive is buying, owning, and operating a car. What I really like about this one is I never pay for energy for this. I plug this into my solar panels and it charges it up. And when I'm at a coffee shop, I let the coffee shop foot the bill in exchange for overpriced coffee. It has a lithium-ion battery that will carry you at, well, let me back up for a second. It has different modes. There's basic or beginner, eco, which will give you the most range, Expert, and then Pro. I always just ride on Pro. That literally is the whole, the energy, the complete energy of the board just wide open. And I would definitely not go on that mode when you first start out, but you get less of a range that way, which I get about 4 to 5 miles, but if I had to go eco mode, I get 7 to 8 miles. So, you know, it all depends on the trip at hand, what you're planning to do with that particular trip. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm all about being debt-free and financially independent so I can do what I want, when I want with my life. And unfortunately, there's so many things in life that weigh us down, not to preach, but the first for most people is their house, and for most people, their second, sometimes health care and that type of thing, but more times than not, it's a car. And I'm certainly not suggesting that one of these can replace your car, but it possibly can. I'll give you an example. My brother lives in Denver and has one of these, and he literally takes his radio flyer wagon and pulls it behind him when he knows he needs to do a big time grocery run, and has no problem. And then in downtown Denver, if you need to rent a car, if you actually need a car, you can go to one of the rental stations. It picks up his iPhone and sees that he's there, and the door unlocks, and you get in. Great setup. But between maintaining a car, that being tires, insurance, gas, upkeep, all those things, owning a car certainly is a luxury. Taxes, all that. This right here, you literally get on and go. So if you're a single person and you're not dependent on anyone, that type of thing, this right here, seriously, I think if you don't live out in the country, if you live like where I do on an island where everything's close, or if you live in an urban environment where mass transportation is available to you, I'll give you another example. My brother, again, he lives in Denver. He takes his boosted board to the light rail, which is a few miles from where he actually lives, hops on that, and then when he gets off, his work is relatively close, and he hops on a skateboard again and goes. Perfect for that situation. What's amazing to me is that this thing weighs 15 pounds, and I've gone about, I think, close to 150 miles on it, and it'll carry a 235 pound guy 25 miles an hour down the road. It's just amazing to me, and I never pay for any energy. So if you're a tiny houser or someone who wants to be mortgage free, this is actually taking things to the next level. I know you can get a bicycle. That's a great option too if you want to be car free. But this right here, if you have to go 3-4 miles to work, you won't break a sweat. The main thing with this, the key thing with this is safety. You have to be very careful. Another thing that I really like about the boosted board is that it comes with an app, and it connects to the board via Bluetooth on your phone. So you'll need a smartphone for this to work that has Bluetooth, which most smartphones do these days. But what's really cool is it shows you your how much battery you have left, the total miles you traveled, and your current trip meter. Right now it says 3.5. I can reset it back to 0. You can change the modes on the throttle, which I'll show you in a second, but you can also change it here. Beginner, Eco, Expert, and Pro. If you know you've got a long commute ahead, like over 5 miles, you definitely want to put it on Eco. And if you're a lighter person, you could probably get away with Expert. But again, most of my trips, I just put it in Pro and just go for it. And this is the controller. You press the button, hold it down once, and you'll see it turns on. And then when this is flashing right here, that means it's connected to the board. I'll show you. So there is a trigger, and you have to hold that to engage the throttle, forward, backwards. And when you're coasting, you want to hold this down, and it's very lightly applies the brakes. This thing actually has regenerative brakes, and that'll help charge the battery back up too, kind of like a hybrid car. And as I was saying before, I can just plug this into my Goal Zero 350, and this will charge up the battery about 3 times. And this is actually an older model, but what's great is if you're an eco-friendly person, you're literally using no fossil fuels, no gas, no emissions, anything like that. So that's it. That's the Dual Plus by Boosted Board. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you really like this video and all the videos that I produce, please hit the thumbs up or the like button or whatever it is. It really helps out. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.